So now in this video I thought we would do something with this Drok multi-tester that I have right here. So we have the power supply plugged in, the wires just have ferrules crimped to them and screw them down. So these are 16 gauge wires right there. So the 16 gauge ferrule, they fit in pretty easy. I think I could get a 14 gauge in there as well, but the 12 gauge ferrule, I got one that I just have sitting there. I could not get into the slot right there, so maybe I could force it in, but in any case, I'm pretty sure you could probably get that 14 gauge. This unit though, it says that the maximum current is 20 amps of current that it can measure from 0 to 20, and so we can't use 5 volts for this one, but 6.5 volts to 100 volts right there. So the way I have the power supply plugged in, the other end of the wires is another ferrule right there, and I just clip the alligator clips to them, pretty straightforward. So now of course it automatically measures the voltage, will raise the voltage up there, and it follows. And we could keep going up, but we're not going to. You can turn the light on just by pressing this button, and I think if you hold the button down you can change some setting, but I'm not sure exactly what, so we're not going to worry about that right now. So I'm going to make some wires so we can measure the power that we got coming through there with this Drok. So I'm turning it this way just to verify. Plus will be on top there and negative on bottom when we have it like that. So this barrel plug there, you can see plus on top and the minus on bottom when I have it facing in this direction right there. I think this will be a little more wire than I need, so I'm going to take my Capri wire cutter and stripper right here and cut that, and I can also strip both ends right now to make way for our ferrule. So it looks like it's good to just keep the tongue at the shortest distance right there, and we got her stripped, pretty easy, and strip the other side just like that. And I did the same thing with the black wire that will be parallel with it. They're about the same length. Looks like the black one's a little bit longer. Now, I'm going to pre-shape this a little bit before I crimp the ferrules on. So that's going to stick up out of the barrel jack adapter that we got. And then it should come down a bit right there and pretty much straight. So I think that will be a good shape. And I'll do that for both of them. I'll go a bit quicker with this one right there. So I have a ferrule kit. I think there's 300 of this one. There's more down there, I think like 500, and then there's less as you get to the larger ones. But any case, these black ones are for the 16 American wire gauge. I'll zoom in so you can see the gauges right there really quick. So now you don't really want to twist up the wires, but I find if you give a slight twist right there, then it's a little easier to slide these on without a wire coming out. And so you turn it like the same direction right there. We got it on there. Crimping tool is pretty straightforward. You just set it in, and the plastic insulation stops the wire from going forward anymore. You just squeeze it, and it crimps the ferrule on there. And as we saw before, we want positive on top, negative on bottom. So you see if I flip it this way, we still have positive on top, negative on bottom. And we will take the red one first. So we want to set it so that the hook is pointing towards the bottom here. And just set it in, pretty straightforward. Let's see if I can do this without losing our view. So there we go. That way, and it's just a simple standard screw right there, not terribly big though, and just screw it down. There's plenty of room to insert this. Again, I think we could go up 1 gauge of wire. This is 16 gauge, so 14 gauge would be a little bit bigger. Power supply is off, by the way, or I unplugged it completely, and so in any case, yeah, I just insert in there, made sure also that that's still plus on top, minus on the bottom for the adapter. It was. I just had to lift this up there, and I was able to screw them into place. No problem. Alright, so these adapters, they can only handle these 16 gauge ferrules. This is as high as we can go. I propped this up over there, and we are going to apply power, hopefully pretty quickly, or I'll just edit this out. So we got to make sure that these don't come into contact with each other, or we will have a short circuit. And so this isn't the best setup there. There we go. And so I'll set it over there. Hopefully they don't have 2 points where metal comes into contact with both ends there. So we have the power supply set to 7 volts, but it's off right now. I'm going to turn it on, and now we got power. So this can tell we got some power applied, and for some reason when I turn it on at first, it flashes like that. And so this is actually my second shooting right there. We were powering this for a while. I got to figure out how to reset this. But it's 1 watt hour already, but we're not giving any power, so that number is not going to go up at the moment. We are going to set our maximum current at 3 amps right there. This power supply actually limits the current to, I believe, 2.4 amps. And also, so this power storage unit, this power supply unit right there, it can only provide a certain amount of wattage. So once I get to a high enough voltage, it's going to actually drop how much current it can provide. But there you can see, I believe the book says like 2.4 amps that it limits current to, and it says like don't charge more than like 23 volts. We got 14. But there you can see the power coming in. It bumped up a little bit. But this is watt hours. So if we let this sit for about an hour right there, we got 33 watts. Then it would say 33. So that would be 33 watt hours. 33 watts for 1 hour. After 2 hours, it would say 66, because that would be 33 watts times 2 hours would be 66 watt hours. So hopefully that makes sense. That's an estimate though. But in any case, this is going to limit current to like 2.4. So that's really starting at like 13 volts, like a little bit can trickle through below. But you're going to see, since it's letting that same amount of current at a higher voltage, the wattage is going to go up. But now we got the power supply. It can only provide so much wattage. So I think it's like 40 watts max about. We got like 42 there. So if I keep increasing the voltage, you're going to see that it lowers how much current it can provide. And ultimately what this means, I messed up in the last video. Let's bump it up to 23. And so it's limiting the current can provide. So you know, it wants to output 22 volts, but there you can see we're actually only outputting 13 volts. And it has to do that because that's all the current it can provide. The only way, there we go, the only way it can not exceed the current that it's limiting itself to, so it doesn't provide too much power, is to lower its output voltage. So hopefully that makes sense.